the blade.
Hey, nerds! So now it's time for a short little review of a unit that I've really had a lot of fun with. We're going to be talking about Laevatein today, and I want to make these little bite-sized episodes for characters that you enjoy, so if you want, feel free to tell me what characters you would like to see next in a video such as this. So let's dive into the stats for Laevatein. So, you may remember this old stat sheet, namely that there is a slight little error there on it, namely with the might for Laevatein, as in the sword, not the character. So I'm just going to be completely professional here and fix that little scuffle right now. Ah, beautiful. You can't say I'm not professional now, can ya? Okay, so let's do a dress down quickly of everything that's included. So when you get Laevatein, you're getting a fantastic skill set without having to really invest too much. Laevatain's weapon is Laevatein. That hurts. Plus 3 attack and a Blade Tome effect, which is amazing. Swap Fury 3, which is a nice A slot. Attack and Defense Link 3, which is great for repositionals, especially when you're repositioning Laevatein, and then Odd Speed Wave 3. All of this together makes really great synergy, and, well, you don't really have to invest too much. I mean, if you don't have any really crazy abilities to give her, she'll be fine with her normal skill set. When it comes to her stats, I have to say that her attack is phenomenal. If you happen to get a boon in that, that means that she's going to have 43 attack. Naturally, that's including the weapon, and then you add in the might and all that other fun stuff, and it just goes crazy. But the other stats that you may want to pay attention to are her speed, which is at 31, which is moderate, and then also her defense, which is actually quite high, considering 34 is pretty nice, pretty good. And well, that's really all you have to worry about when it comes to Laevatein stat-wise. Let's move on to pros and cons and just crank this one out, shall we?
Toy with me and I will cut you down where you stand.
Okay, I think the first pro is fairly simple. She has a lot of attack. A lot. With everything included, she gets up to 56 attack naturally, which is quite high. Then you add in the fact that, well, you could go higher with boons, you also have buffs, and then, you know, the whole Blade Tome in a sword thing, meaning that her attack is going to go even higher when she has the proper support. It's quite nasty. Then we add in the fact that she has 34 defense, which is quite high considering, and 31 speed, which, while not amazing, will stop some doubles when necessary. So I guess we have to talk about cons here, don't we? Painful. Okay, I hate to do this to you, Laevatein, but your res, not too great. 22 res naturally is... yeah, that's not going to help you against mages. It's also not going to help you against some dragons, so be careful out there. Don't throw her into anything too spicy, as they say. She also requires a bit of support from her teammates, namely in the form of buffs, hones, tactics, anything like that. A dancer who happens to have, you know, an ability like that when she dances. These things are gonna really need to be around her to take extra special advantage of her Laevatein. By which I mean her sword. Not the other character. And she's also competing in a very crowded pool of sword units as well. I mean, if you were to take a list of all the infantry swords and just scroll through them, you might be there for a bit. It's just all I'm trying to say. Consider the fact that you're also using other characters like Mia, Ira, Carla, Legendary Marth. All of these sword units are pretty high up there, and Laevatein has some competition, so you don't necessarily have to roll for her if you don't feel like it. And that's about it when it comes to pros and cons. I say we move into builds, do that real quick, and I'll just let you guys go. Alright, so I guess I'll just say this right now for those who are worried. Maybe you got Laevatein and you're not really sure what you want to do. Maybe you don't have characters that, you know, have insane abilities that you can inherit to her. Don't worry, because Laevatain's base kit synergizes extremely well with everything that she does. If there's one thing that she is missing with her base kit, it would probably be her special skill. She does not have one. So my suggestion for you guys would probably be Glimmer. It's easy to get, it comes from a lot of characters, and it does benefit her and her Blade Tome-like effect, because the more damage she does, the more beneficial Glimmer will be. But let's say you wanted to go crazy. Let's say you have a bunch of characters and you really love Laevatein and you want to make some insane builds. Well, my friend, let's go down that rabbit hole, shall we? The fun thing about Laevatein that I really enjoy is that she can actually be either a player phase or an enemy phase, depending on how you build her, and she can excel fairly well at both of them. The obvious option that I'm sure a lot of you are going to be throwing out there is like, oh man, Distant Counter, and yes, Distant Counter will work for her. The other options I can really think of for her A skill slot are Steady Breath, just because, well, why not just add in more specials? Everyone loves specials, right? From there, we can always go with other things. If you're not really into being defensive, you can also make her an offensive unit, give her Death Blow, and just throw her out into the world and watch things die in a second. When it comes to her B skill slot, there are a lot of things you can do there that are quite terrifying. Just a lot of things. My build right here is Special Spiral, of course, which means that after she triggers Glimmer once, Glimmer is going to be up at all times, and this is a very nice ability effect. But if you don't feel like, killing a Lewin, which I don't blame you, I would instead consider other options. The easiest B option that I can think of is just, well, the simple one that everyone kind of goes to when it comes to these kinds of units, Quick Riposte, because why not? It's just an easy option, allows her to double when she gets attacked, especially if she's being attacked by a melee unit and she already has the bulk to handle it. The other options I can think of course, are Vantage, just in case you happen to get health a little bit low. Chill Defense is also a good option, just to add a little bit more insult to injury, just in case you want to destroy a defensive unit and you want to watch Laevatein just obliterate them. When it comes to her C skill slot, though, I will say that the only thing you really need to worry about is maybe changing out Odd Speed Wave. You could probably change that to Odd Attack Wave if you really want her to do even more damage without having to have someone nearby. It's really very difficult as an option. She doesn't have the res to run a ploy. You can change it to really whatever you want. It's just player preference at this point. And as for a Sacred Seal, I would probably suggest Heavy Blade. Gee, I wonder why that would be. She might just have a lot of attack. Who would have thought? That's a pretty simple explanation, right? Or if you're not really wanting to run Quick Riposte in your B slot, you could, of course, put it as a seal as well. And, well, that's kind of the fun bit about Laevatein. She's all about choice in this regard. You can make her an enemy phase unit if you want more defensive, or if you want to just go all out aggressive, player phase will work too. She could even be a mixed phase if you really, really insist upon it. That's just kind of the fun of it. It's all about choice. You don't even have to choose to summon her if you don't want to. You already have a lot of other strong sword units out there. But are you going for Laevatein? Did you already get her? Are you enjoying her? I would love to hear it. And well, that's about it for me right now, nerds. I don't know if you guys really enjoyed this too much, but I would love to hear your input. Do you want me to try out other units? Would you like me to shine a spotlight on units that are underused, or do you want me to try and do more recent ones? I would love to hear your input. But there's no final rating here. This is just to be excited about a unit for once and talk about everything that they excel at and all the fun things you can do with it. About this time I realized we're running a lot longer over what I originally thought it was going to be. We're at nearly 8 minutes, so I'm just going to call it a day. Thanks for watching, nerds, and if you enjoyed it, feel free to leave a like. Catch you later.